A new series of desktop processors from AMD are set to hit store shelves over the next couple of weeks. I know there have been many of you anticipating Ryzen 9000, and while I don't think the new series is going to be a disappointment or anything, I think it will meet expectations for the most part. I just don't think it would be the right choice if you're looking for your next gaming processor or someone who's after good bang for the buck. Let's discuss that in this video. This video is brought to you by FlexiSpot and their E7 Plus standing desk. The E7 is the ultimate solution for gamers and workstation users seeking the perfect balance between comfort and productivity. With a FlexiSpot standing desk, you can unleash your full potential by seamlessly transitioning between sitting and standing position. This helps in promoting better posture, higher energy levels, and enhancing focus, leading to an increase in productivity. Its sleek and ergonomic design ensures optimal comfort during those long gaming sessions or intense work marathons. They also offer a variety of tops such as this Maplewood model, which looks great and can be integrated into any environment. The height adjustable feature allows you to customize the desk to your preferred height, sporting a range from 26 to 51.6 inches, ensuring a perfect fit for any individual. The control pad allows you to save multiple profiles, which will allow you to smoothly switch between a sitting or standing position. The E7 Plus's four-legged sturdy construction provides stability and durability, supporting all your gaming equipment or workstation essentials with ease as it holds up to 540 pounds. The spacious desktop surface gives you ample room for your gaming rig, multiple monitors, keyboards, and other accessories. FlexiSpot stands out from the competition in many ways. With their commitment to quality and innovation, they have become a trusted name in the industry. With the E7 Plus, you're investing in a lifestyle upgrade. Say goodbye to the limitations of a traditional desk, experience the difference today, and join the standing desk revolution by checking out FlexiSpot and their E7 Plus using the link in the video description. Hey, what is going on, guys? Danny here. Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you've all been doing well. Just an update on where I've been. I was actually just south of the border, took a bit of a road trip down to Chicago with the boys, and had some delicious deep dish pizza. And on the way back, we stopped by a Micro Center in Madison Heights, Michigan. This was the first time I've ever actually gone to one of the Micro Center locations, and I gotta say, I'm a bit envious of my fellow PC hardware gaming and enthusiasts down in the States. I wish we had a store like this in the Greater Toronto area. We do have Canada Computers, but they come nowhere close to the lucrative level that Micro Center is on when it comes to just the way the whole store is oriented, the variety of parts available, and just the overall theme of the store, which was quite welcoming. So I was glad to finally have the opportunity to check it out. Now, that's enough about me. Let's move on to the subject of this video. And what I wanted to talk to you guys about was AMD's Ryzen 9000 series based on their Zen 5 architecture. These CPUs were announced a couple of months ago during Computex with 4 SKUs, the 9950X, 9900X, 9700X, and the 9600X. It was the typical lineup of CPUs you've come to expect as with every new generation of CPUs from AMD. We've got core counts ranging from 6 to 16 cores, similar clock speeds with some minor adjustments here and there, along with some decent power figures. Though when it comes to actual performance and power consumption, we're still reserving final judgment until the reviews come out. With that said, there have been some various benchmark leaks and official communication from AMD themselves suggesting that this isn't going to be the leap in performance many had anticipated. On a side note, there's been quite a lot of discussion and drama in the CPU world lately, with everything going on at Intel regarding their instability problems with 13th and 14th gen CPUs, so I think the timing on AMD's end couldn't have been more perfect. I've seen many comments on my videos and other forums online where people who had purchased one of these CPUs and were having problems said that they were going to dump their chips and switch to AM5. Intel basically ended up just running a free marketing campaign for their main competition at this point, and that's just sad. You would think over the recent years, with how much pressure and competition AMD has brought to the table, Intel would behave more seriously, and yet all they've done is indulge in ambitious marketing tactics and a clear lack of quality control. Circling back to AMD and the Ryzen 9000 series, I gotta say this has been one of the more weirder launches from Team Red. These CPUs were announced about a couple of months ago, and yet we still don't even have official MSRP figures from them, which is quite bizarre. This isn't the first time AMD has announced chips or products without initial pricing info, but for them to have 2 months pass by and still have no official communication on that is kind of wild. Furthermore, when they were unveiled, the launch date for the chips was supposed to be July 31st, but the chips got delayed due to some quality issues AMD discovered, and many of the chips were recalled from retailers. That's good. I'm not trying to say this as a bad thing. This was definitely the right move from AMD, where instead of having those chips with potential quality issues in the wild, they caught it earlier on and retrieved inventory from their partners, retailers, and SIs. AMD didn't actually disclose what the quality problem was, and from what I've seen, nobody really knows for sure. However, according to Ian Cutress, the quality problem was just a mere typo. This past week, we've seen pictures of people who have gotten their hands on early samples, and also some early retail stock showing wrong labeling on some chips. HXL on Twitter posted a picture of one such example, where we have a Ryzen 9 9700X. Now, we know the 9700Xs are supposed to be Ryzen 7s, not Ryzen 9s, or perhaps this was a Ryzen 9 chip, maybe a 9900X or 9950X, but has the 9700X engraving as a mistake. This whole naming scheme from the get-go and them just trying to copy Intel was dumb from the start and results in confusing situations such as this. Just call the chips a Ryzen 9 9600X or Ryzen 9950X. It's sufficient for people to know what it is. But perhaps the quality issue could have gone deeper, and it may have something to do with performance. An Italian tech reviewer by the name of SatiTech managed to get their hands on a Ryzen 9 9900X pretty early and posted the review of it on their channel, so I don't think they signed any NDA. I think they got it from one of the retailers who managed to get stock earlier on. They showed it going head-to-head against a Ryzen 7 7800X 3D, and unfortunately the results weren't really all that impressive, if at all. At best, the 9900X only managed to tie the 7800X 3D, and in many games, it lost by a notable margin. Could there be a possibility that AMD found a quality with some chips preventing them from reaching their full potential, and this chip that SatiTech has could have been one of the affected processors? Nah, I probably doubt it's as bad as that, and what adds credence to this review and the results is that Paul Alcorn, who's a hardware reviewer and editor for Tom's Hardware, interviewed AMD's senior technical marketing manager, Donnie Walagrowski, and he claims that X3D is still king of the hill, so you shouldn't expect the 9000 series to beat the 7800X 3D. And in fact, AMD's own marketing materials, they show a variety of games they tested in their labs, and on average, they found that the 9700X was only about 12% faster compared to a 5800X 3D. So we're not even talking about Zen 4, we're talking about Zen 3 with the X3D chip. Now, if we look at a CPU review from Tech Power Up, we can see how they've got their 14900K 22% ahead of the 5800X 3D, and their 7800X 3D is about 25% faster on average. You know, I'm actually quite surprised that AMD showed modest benchmarks like these, because we actually saw some really shady and misleading marketing stuff at the same time, which were pertaining to their new 5900XT and 5800XT Zen 3 CPUs. And Hardware Unboxed actually made a pretty good video showing why exactly those benchmarks were dumb, because they had essentially created a massive GPU bottleneck and said, oh look, our CPUs are still just as competitive as Intel's 13th gen CPUs, which was very misleading, but I digress. So with all of that information taken into account, this has kind of killed the hype for the 9000 series amongst PC gamers. Now, as multitasking and workstation chips, I think there will be a lot of users pleased with the performance of the 9000 series, and with some of these leaked numbers I've seen at various power configurations, the 9000 series are looking to be quite efficient. And I think that's where they should have focused all of their marketing efforts on, and they should have straight up said that, look, gamers, we know you're excited for a new generation, but this series here really isn't for you guys. We think you guys will be astounded by what our 9800X 3D has to offer, which will come later this year. In a way, this is what Donnie was implying in their interview, but they should have said something like this when they had unveiled the chips, and I think it really wouldn't have hurt their sales anyways, since most of the people are going to be waiting for X3D chips. That's the route I've been recommending. It's what other reviewers have mentioned as well, since we now have two generations as examples where the previous gen X3D parts were performing the new generation. The 7000 series would sometimes lose to the 5800X 3D, and now we have the 9000 series losing to the 7800X 3D. So at this stage, it shouldn't come as a surprise. Taking that into consideration, AMD could still deliver a good solid generation through attractive pricing. But as I said earlier, we still don't even have official pricing communication from AMD, and I think that might be the dilemma they're facing, which is why they're being so tight-lipped about it. But there have been some leaks, and if these retail leaks are true, then I'd say AMD is about halfway there. According to Momo on Twitter, they were able to capture a screenshot of some Ryzen 9000 prices that showed up on Best Best Buy's website. They show the Ryzen 9 9950X and 9900X at $599 and $449 respectively, and at those prices, they're not too bad. If these really are the prices, they're about $100 cheaper than what the initial Ryzen 7000 launch prices were. So AMD is being aggressive, and for consumers, that's a good thing. I remember when the 7000 series came out, there were a number of folks, myself included, who said that given the current options on the market today, these will be a tough sell, and that's exactly what ended up happening. The CPUs were marked down by like $50 or $100 a few months later. Right now on the market, you can get a 7950X 3D for about $544. The regular 7950X is a bit cheaper than that, and I think on Prime Day, the 7950X 3D was like $450 or something like that, which is pretty insane. If you feel like living life on the edge, you can go for a 13900K, which is on sale for about $480. But I will give you the disclaimer that unless you're willing to do some extensive voltage tuning and you're comfortable playing around with the BIOS, then don't bother, and even then it may not be a guarantee. Going back to the topic on hand though, you can see the main takeaway I have with this is that even if the initial prices are lower, they will still be facing some tough competition. And from the leaked benchmarks I've seen, while they're faster, the difference isn't that big. Not big enough to perhaps warrant the price difference, and most people would say, you know what, I'm just going to go with last gen and save the money. I guess either way you look at it though, AMD is content with selling off old stock first. I mean, whether they sell a 7950X or 9900X makes no difference to them. Then once the old stock is cleared out, then they can maintain pricing on the new stuff. But I do have a problem with the 9700X and the 9600X's pricing. They definitely should be lower, and I think trying to sell a 8-core and 6-core parts without 3D V-Cache at those prices is, well, way too much. $330 at most for the 9700X and $230 for the 6-core part. That is what I think they should have been priced at. Because remember what I said, since these aren't even 3D chips, gamers aren't really their primary focus. We're talking about people who need multi-core performance and maybe doing some gaming on the side. So it begs the question, why would someone even consider a 9700X? If you want multi-core performance, you can get a 7900X, that's the same price. Or if you're a gamer, get the 7800X 3D, and that's around the same price as well. Or wait for the 9800X 3D. I just can't see too many reasons as to why you'd pick the 9700X unless you're just after the latest 8-core part. And the same can basically be said for the 9600 as well. But if you guys want to hear a funny joke, AMD is also selling the 5900 XT at like $350. Just baffling. I'm not even going to bother with that one. I'll be very much looking forward to seeing benchmarks and results for the 9000 series. I'm hoping there will be some tricks AMD's hiding that we just haven't seen yet, and hey, if they can do something better in terms of pricing, that'd be welcome, but honestly, I just temper expectations at this point. Ryzen 9000 is looking like an okay jump, nothing really to write home about. You're better off waiting for the X3D CPUs or spending your money on last gen parts, which are on clearance or on some really steep discounts. You'll get way better bang for your buck. Alrighty guys, so that's gonna do it for this one. We'll touch base in the next video. If you guys found this video to be informative and entertaining, then leave a like. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Be sure to check out the video description for cool links and ways to support the channel, such as using my Amazon affiliate link. And if you're interested in seeing more content like this, then consider subscribing. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.